Who are we? Matillion are a company with 1,500 plus customers. We shift 5 trillion plus rows of data per day using our product, and we have a 90% recommendation through Gartner from our customers. The product I'm going to show you today is purpose built for Databricks. So it's not a generic data movement and transformation product I'm going to show you. It is specific to the Databricks product, so it uses the special features that Databricks provides through the interface that Matillion offers. We've been backed by Databricks Ventures in 2022, and we're also Partner Connect certified. So, who are we in terms of what we do? Well, we're the productivity platform for data teams. What does that mean? Well, it means that we aim to empower the entire data team, no matter what their skills, in making the data journey more productive. We generate pipelines faster, we bring in more of the data expertise, and we use that expertise to make those pipelines more valuable. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to get the data. We connect it. We've got 150 plus connectors within the product that allow you to go out to a wide variety of different data sources. SAP, NetWeaver, Google, the list goes on. Once we've got that data, we actually put the data through the transformation process and make that data work. The actual transformation process is all click driven, so you've got a visual interpretation of what that data transformation is doing, and all of that leads to more value from your data in a shorter time scale. So Matillion is the data productivity cloud, and we like to think ourselves as everyone ready. Everyone in the team, low coders, high coders, data scientists, can feed into that data productivity. We're stack ready because we're very closely integrated with the cloud data warehouse that's being used, in this case, Databricks. And we're also future ready. We work closely with the data providers, the database providers, so that when they get their new features coming into their products, we do a fast follow with the same feature in our product. Good example of that was Unity Catalog. Unity Catalog was released beginning of this year. We brought our Unity Catalog support out in early January. So we fast follow on from the database providers. The latest addition to the Matillion family is the Data Productivity Cloud. The demo I'm going to show you today is on our traditional non-SaaS platform. We're moving to a SaaS-enabled product. So 0 install, very, very quick startup times. We like to call it 10 minutes to wow. Within 10 minutes, your average customer has built and run a pipeline, connecting to data sources, bringing that data into the data warehouse, and then processing that data through a transformation that they have created. So Matillion ETL on Databricks follows the Databricks paradigm of the medallion architecture very closely. The extract and load is the bronze. We then transform at the cleaning stage to create the silver, and then we further transform to aggregate, summarize, whatever it is that the BI teams need, and produce the gold layer. I'll show you that in the demo. So let's have a look at the product itself. Okay, so what we've got on screen now is the Matillion for Databricks product. The main area, as you can see, is the canvas. This is where all of the actual design work goes on. I've worked with this a lot, so to me this is very self-explanatory. I'm hoping that people seeing this for the first time get a feel for what is actually happening in this job. In our bronze area, we're connecting to and extracting and bringing data into our system, into our Databricks account. In the silver layer, we're running a transformation job to cleanse that data. And then in the gold layer, we're running another transformation to further aggregate, summarize, and change that data ready for subsequent reporting. Now, one of the strengths of using the product comes in from the large selection of connectors that we provide. As I said before, we've got over 150 connectors built into the product, ready to use to bring data into your system. I've got a couple actually on the canvas at the moment. These tend to be the ones that are fairly regularly used by our customers. So the first one I'm showing here is a Salesforce query connector. Now again, in order to benefit the data engineers and improve productivity, we have the ability to sample data on the fly. So as you can see down here in this tab, I can query the data from a particular node in my orchestration job, and I can see what that data looks like. As we go through the demonstration, I'll show you how I use that feature of Matillion to keep a check on what's happening with my data as it moves through the pipeline. So, as well as bringing data in from external sources, we have the capability of creating local tables directly in our Databricks account. The example I'm using here is creating an unmanaged data table based on a CSV file that's held within an S3 storage bucket. So if I have a look at the properties that we have here, you can see my data is being held in this bucket, and that will be read in when the table's created. So we've got our data. What we want to do with it? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is cleanse that data. And again, I've got this sample tab available, so I can have a look at my data as it sits in my data table. This is the source table. I can then carry out cleansing operations on that. Now we've got accounts in this table. I want to replace from the website content any HTTPS's and any wwws. And I want to get rid of those in order to clean up my data. So if I flick back and sample my data at source, we can see our website currently has HTTP, www at the beginning. If I go to my transformation and actually look at the component that's doing the cleaning and sample it at that point, you can see my new column, web domain, has had those leading pieces of information removed. So I'm actually checking how my data is changing on the fly as I'm designing my transformation pipeline. So a bit more cleaning going on there to get my silver layer in place. I can then move on to another transformation. And in this transformation, I'm bringing all of my data sources that have been cleaned together, doing some tidying up aggregation, putting in some summations, and getting these bits of data ready to be actually used in reporting. And as before, I can sample my data just to make sure that what's coming in is what I'm expecting. That's exactly what I was expecting to see. I've got my accounts, I've got an order quantity, prices and costs. So I can now start looking at making that data into something useful. So what sort of profits are we making from our sales? So my next transformation is simply working out how much profit is against each order from each customer. And finally, I can write that data out to another table in my Databricks account where my final users can begin to use that data in their reporting or further analysis. So in 3 easy steps, I've brought my data in, I've cleaned it, I've aggregated it to a gold layer, and all of that data is now available for my analysts and customers to use as they see fit. Now, I said earlier that our product is built on Databricks with Databricks functionality in mind. One of the latest features that we brought in was the capability to run a Databricks notebook containing Scala, R, Python, whatever it happens to be, directly within your pipelines. So if one of your data scientists has created some fantastic bit of code and stored it in a notebook on the Databricks account, I can actually include that as part of my transformational pipeline simply by looking up the notebook I want to run within the properties. And that will use the API provided by Databricks to run that notebook either synchronously or asynchronously, depending upon what I want to do. And it will carry out the actions that are being held in that notebook on the data. So this opens up the capabilities to use notebooks that have been created by a data scientist using the AutoML features in the experimentation area within Databricks. I could use the run notebook to run training data to get a new model, and then run inference notebooks to actually use that trained data to bring in new insights into my data once it's been through the model. Additionally, we're running this product on AWS. So we have some AWS specific features in there, SNS, SQS. I can integrate my pipelines running into a simple networking system or a simple messaging system, again, directly through the components within our product. And finally, we also have the capability to allow some of our high code users to create their own components to interact with Databricks. So the size down cluster has actually been created by one of my data engineers as a shared job. Matillion. Coffin. So using a Python component, they've created a script that calls the API that allows us to resize the clusters. Now, this is just one example. Could be doing anything through the API system. But if you've got someone who's capable of coding in Python or Java, they can expand the features within the Metal product simply by coding the required feature into a shared job using Python or Java. Okay, so Having seen it in action, you do have the opportunity to actually try this out for yourselves on a 14-day free trial. Simply go to the Matillion.com website, sign up, and within a couple of hours you'll have exactly the same system up and running that I've just demonstrated, and you'll be creating and running your first pipelines and transforming your data. So I'd like to say thank you for turning up this afternoon, and if anybody's got any questions, I'm more than happy to take those on the floor once we've finished. Thanks very much.